Hi, I'm Alex, this is Pucks and Paperbacks, and today I have my mid-year book check-in. I wasn't originally going to do this video because I just don't really do them anymore, and I just did a recent read, but when I was watching Angel from Jurassic Reads video, I decided that I should do it too. I'll have Angel's video and the questions down below. Let's get started. The first question is, what is the best book you've read so far this year? And this has to go to Amateur by Thomas Page McBee and Kiss and Tell by Adib Khorram. I talk about it all in my recent reads video, but these are definitely my two favorite books of the year. Best sequel you read this year? I unfortunately don't have an answer for this. I read standalones mostly, but the series I did read this year was not my favorite. You can go and watch my Goodreads video to find out more about that. New release you haven't read yet but want to? I have three here. Where Echoes Die by Courtney Gold, Page Boy by Elliot Page, and Friday I'm in Love by Cameron Garrett. I actually have this on my TBR for a reading vlog I'm going to do, so hopefully you're gonna see that soon. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year, I have two for this. First is a romance called Love at 350 by Lisa Pearce. It's a baking romance, and I'm just gonna read you the blurb really quick. An unexpected attraction simmers between a contestant and a judge during a TV baking competition, leaving both women to decide what they're willing to sacrifice for the ultimate prize. It's out October 10th, and I really hope that I can get a copy of it. The sophomore novel from Andrea Beatriz Arango called Something Like Home is coming out, and I have an arc for it. I'm super excited to read it. Andrea is a friend of mine, and I loved her debut novel. This features dogs, and it talks about the foster care system, and I know I am going to love it. Biggest disappointment was Chef's Kiss by Jarrett Melendez. I really enjoyed the chef part of the book and some of the conversations. However, I just felt like it was underdeveloped and the romance was rushed. There was a lot of miscommunication and I was just really confused what happened here. I talk about it more in my recent reads if you want to check that out. Biggest surprise has to go to Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. I wasn't sure if I was going to like this one, but it really surprised me. I read this for my Goodreads collab where me and several other booktubers took a category of the Goodreads Choice Awards and read the last 10 years of winners and declared a winner ourselves. I'll link that video up above if you want to watch it. Another book that surprised me was Punch Me Up to the Gods by Brian Broom. I didn't know how much I was going to love this, and I read it for my video where I read Elliot Page's book recommendations. He recommended this and Amateur, and now they're my two favorite memoirs. Favorite new author is Edward Underhill. I read his debut novel, Always to Almost, and it radiated trans joy, and it is so good. It's such a great YA that features a trans boy who is super messy, and he does a lot of awful shit, but he comes out on top, and I really enjoyed this. It was awesome. I'd also say Julie Chu. I read her book, The Donut Trap, and I really enjoyed it and want to pick up more for work. Newest favorite character is Kit Webb from The Queer Principles of Kit Webb. Oh my god, I loved him so much. He was so great. I really enjoyed seeing his character development. I would also say Percy, he was really funny, but Kit was just such a strong character and I loved seeing the way that he grew throughout the book. He was such a solid character and I want to read more from him. A book that made you cry? Actually, I haven't had one yet. I would say Amateur might have made me cry, but honestly, I don't remember. I haven't had a book that has made me ugly cry, so I believe when I read Andrea's book, that will probably be the one that breaks me. A book that made you happy was Cinderella by S.T. Lin. I recently read it in June. This is a Cinderella retelling following a black trans woman, and I just really enjoyed the way that trans joy was incorporated into the novella. Always the Almost could also apply for this because it made me smile so much. Most beautiful book you've acquired this year? I wasn't ready for this question. I know. Under Insante We're Here by Johnny Garzavia. Oh, it's so beautiful. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? I don't have much. I would like to get to some of my new releases and some books that I recently received from publishers and things like that, but I don't have any distinct book that I need to finish. I have some reading vlog concepts that I have in the works, and I'm super excited about those. Last year, I didn't set up a goal for myself. I stopped with like the reading goals and things like that just because I don't need them anymore. Since it is 2023, I made all of my reading challenges 23, but that was just for fun. Honestly, it wasn't for an actual challenge. I just thought that it would be fun. And last is to shout out some content creators you've been loving. I want to shout out Cest Kevi, Books and Bow, Tell of Tales, who inspired me to do my reading the most popular book on the day I was born vlog. And on Book Talk, I've been loving Saturday Reads. She's awesome. I got the recommendation of Teacher of the Year by M.A. Wardell from her, and it was so good. I love her book recommendations, so if you're on Book Talk, definitely go and follow her. And if any of these creators are up your alley, go and subscribe to them because they all deserve so much love. Their links will be down below. And that is my mid-year book check-in. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and let me know your answers to any of the questions down below. I would love to know. If you're new here and we're just passing by and you want to hear more of my thoughts on queer and trans books, feel free to hit subscribe. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.